Hello students, myself Dr. Anjali Jadhav and today's topic is how to begin studying. Students, you must have noticed that a few students score good marks. Some students get average mark and some students get minimum marks. Students who get minimum or average marks have the assumption that students who get good marks tend to get good marks in any situation. They consider that studious students are going to perform very well as they are naturally clever, while they themselves will not be able to perform well. This leads to an inferiority complex. Children think that studies are not within their capability, but this is a myth. Even students who get less or average marks can improve in their studies and can get good marks. So let us see how this is possible. We will try to find out the factors responsible for distracting students from studies. There are some psychological factors. Factor number one is self doubt. Average students think that clever students are naturally intelligent and are performing well in studies. They themselves doubt their own capability. The second factor is fear of failure. Self doubt itself causes a decrease in the confidence of students. Due to this, students do not study as they assume that they are going to fail or will not be able to perform in the examination. The next factor is hesitation. Because of a lack of confidence, they do not put effort into studying, thinking that they are not going to perform well in the exam. So they hesitate to study. Then comes the regret. This means that students do not study regularly or on a daily basis. As the examination approaches, they find it difficult to understand the subject. This leads to a further decrease in confidence, thinking that they should have at least read once before the declaration of exam. Then there is emotional disturbance. If a student is mentally disturbed due to anxiety or low mood caused by various reasons, such as an unstable family, financial problems, disputes between parents, addiction in the family, etc., it affects studies. The next factor is getting exhausted. If students spend more time playing or in sports, they are bound to get physically exhausted. This can demotivate them from study. Addiction is another factor. Students of your age are prone to risk taking behavior. Addiction is one of them. Students may be fascinated by people who smoke, consume alcohol, or use addictive substances like ganja, bhang, brown sugar, etc. They may want to try these substances, which can lead to addiction. In addiction, the first priority is to get the addictive substance rather than studies, health, one's well being. Then there are distractions such as friends, mobile phones, and TV. Spending more time with the friends or watching TV for long hours affects studies. Nowadays, the mobile phone is the main culprit in distracting students. It not only consumes time, but also decreases attention span. resulting in reduced concentration in studies. These are the distractions that we have to overcome. Now, let us see how to begin studying. As you are going to enter 12th standard, first of all, you should know your textbook. Get familiar with your textbook. Know the chapters mentioned at the beginning of the book. Put a neat and clean cover and paste a label on. Marking should be done as per previous question paper. Purchase a book containing previous year's question papers or a question bank. Certain topics are frequently asked. Mark the textbook with signs such as important, very important, short answer questions, and long answer questions based on previous year's questions. When you read the chapter, you should be aware of which part has more weightage. Now about the timetable. While making a timetable for studying, you must consider the following points. Students should study at least 6 to 7 hours. But continuous study is not possible. So for convenience, you can divide it into 4 to 5 hours. Calculate the time spent on mobile phones, TV, friends, etc. This will help you understand how much time you are wasting. It will also help you reduce the wastage of time and distractions. Now about how to read. Students decide that they will study for particular hours. But instead, they should decide how many pages or topics they are going to study. The decision should be practical and achievable. You should set a target what you can achieve. Whenever you decide, you must follow it. For example, if you decide to study 5 pages daily, then you must strictly follow it. In this way, you can maintain consistency. When a student decides to study, it is often difficult to begin. The easiest way is to decide to study for just for 5 to 10 minutes. This will break the hesitation and help you continue studying further. While studying, you may get distracted by many things. For example, you may feel like checking your phone due to notifications or messages. You must overcome this temptation within 5 seconds. Decide that you are not going to check the phone. Otherwise, you will waste time looking at the messages or notifications. When you read for first time, it should be visual reading. You simply read from start to end to get a general idea of the topic or chapter. The second reading is slow reading with understanding. You should not read loudly. It is to read in your mind. It is better to read in your mind as it helps you read faster and understand better. Use your finger, pencil, or pen to follow the reading line. This increases attention. Mark important words, points, and definition with a pencil or highlighter. If you read any difficult word, write its meaning on the side. You should study alone to avoid distractions, but revision should be done with others so that you can discuss and understand better. You should study continuously at a stretch for about 45 minutes and not more than that, as studying beyond this duration can make it difficult for the brain to absorb information effectively. After 45 minutes, take a short break of 5 minutes to relax. During this break, you may drink water or do some light stretching. After the break, try to change your body, your study position or location. For example, if you're sitting at one end of the table, move to another place or change your sitting posture. You can also study different subject in different places, such as one subject in the bedroom, another in the hall or balcony. This method is known as learning with association. The brain tends to store information along with the place where it was learned, which helps in better recall. Some students prefer studying in the morning, while others are more comfortable studying at night. This means that the student's concentration and mood are better at different or at certain times. Therefore, difficult topics should be studied when your concentration is highest. When you feel bored or less interested, instead of wasting time, you can study easier or more interesting topic. Subject-wise study classification. While studying, you may notice that some subjects are easy while some are difficult. Even within an easy subject, some topics can be difficult, and within a difficult subject, some topics may be easy or interesting. Therefore, it is important for students to create a chart. Now, how to prepare the chart? On the left side, write the names of all subjects, biology, physics, chemistry, etc. On the right side, create four columns as shown here. Very easy, easy, difficult, very difficult. Prepare this chart on a colored or cardboard sheet. How to use the chart? While studying, after reading each topic or chapter, if the topic is easy and interesting, enter it in very easy box. If the topic is somewhat easy, enter it in easy box. If the topic is difficult, enter it in difficult box. And if the topic is very difficult, enter it in very difficult box. By continuing this process, your chart will gradually be complete. What are the benefits of this? You will clearly understand which topics are easy and which topics are difficult. How to use this while studying? When your mood is good and concentration is high, study difficult and very difficult topics. When you are not in the mood or are easily distracted, study easy and very easy topics. For example, if the TV is on at home, people are talking, or guests have arrived, it becomes difficult to study tough topics. So choose easy or interesting topics during such times. Difficult subjects require more concentration, so study them in calm environment and when you are in a good mood. Easy subjects can be studied even with less concentration. This method helps you save time. Study even when you are not in the mood. Make your study process more planned and effective. Now about importance of making notes. Students, in the previous slides, we discussed reading. Now let us understand how to make notes and why they are important. When we read a topic, certain things get registered in your brain. This information stays for a short period and then gradually fades. This is what we call short-term memory. In short-term memory, information stays only for a short time, whereas in long-term memory, it remains for a longer duration. To transfer information from short-term memory to long-term memory, making notes is one of the simplest and most effective methods. When we write after reading, it helps us retain the information for a longer time. While making notes, a topic or chapter should be read at least 3 times before preparing notes. This helps in clearly understanding what and how to write. While making notes, you can refer to reference books if you need more detailed information. Also, to keep notes short and simple, you can use keywords or short forms. To indicate importance in notes, certain symbols can be used. For example, LQ for long answer questions, SQ for short question, and terms like important, IMP, etc. If notes become too lengthy, you can be simplified using diagrams, labeling, and flowcharts. Writing in points also makes notes easier to understand. For this, you can watch my video on mnemonics. Check the link in the description box for the same. Long notes can be gradually shortened. For example, 2 pages of notes can be reduced to 1 page and further into key points or short paragraph. Highlighting important words makes it easier to remember. The main purpose of this is to enable quick revision before exams. At that time, it is not possible to read the entire textbook. So, well prepared notes help in effective study within a short period. On the screen, you can see different shapes like circle, dumbbell shape, triangle, square, star, pentagon, and hexagon. While writing notes, we usually write points to make them concise and shorter. Instead of writing long paragraphs, these points can be placed inside such shapes or at corners. For example, dumbbell shape has 2 circles on both sides. This means if there are 2 important points in a topic, you can write 1 point in one circle and the second point in the other. When you recall the dumbbell shape, it helps you remember these 2 points and then you can elaborate them in detail. Similarly, a triangle can represent 3 points, square can represent 4 points, hexagon can represent 6 points. In this way, depending on the number of points, you can draw a suitable shape and write such points at its corners or sections. Just by remembering the shape, you can recall all the points easy. This method helps you make your notes more concise and compact. It also makes revision easier, especially on the day of the exam. Additionally, this technique helps store information in your long-term memory, reducing the chances of forgetting. In this slide, we are discussing encouragement. Encouragement means creating enthusiasm or motivation in someone, isn't it? Now, when it comes to studies, for some students it feels boring. So let us see how we can help or how we can develop interest and enthusiasm in study. Generally, we observe that people often speak negatively about students. For example, this student is dull, he has no intelligence, he avoids studying, he doesn't understand even after reading, etc. When students hear such negative remarks repeatedly, they start believing them. Their natural abilities and talents are not expressed properly. They begin to think, I am really dull. I cannot understand anything. I cannot study. Only intelligent students succeed. Only they can score marks. When a student is encouraged, appreciated for his attempt to study, he will repeat this behavior. Even self appreciation by the student can lead to a positive approach to studies. For example, wow, today I studied for 1 hour. I understood this topic. If something is not understood, students should ask questions to their teachers, friends, or parents and clear their doubts. Whenever you read or write something, do not forget to praise yourself. Encourage yourself by saying, I studied for 1 hour today. Tomorrow I will try to study more. If parents and teachers encourage you, it is very good. But self encouragement is equally important. It helps maintain your interest in studies and motivates you to read and understand more. Another important method is to write down your goal. Write them on a small paper or a chart and place it in front of your study area. These goals can be small. For example, what you want to achieve in the upcoming unit test, expected marks, percentage, division, this subject to study on which day, and when to revise. Write everything clearly with proper dates and timing. Even you can write motivational phrases. Your study room should be clean, neat, and well lit. A dull room creates a dull mood. A bright room with proper sunlight and good lighting increases your interest in the study. There should be minimal noise while studying. If there is disturbance due to TV or conversations at home, you should close the door to avoid distractions. Your sitting posture should also be proper. The book should be at your eye level. Generally, we bend our neck while studying, which causes strain. If the table is low, you should occasionally lift your head. Move your neck slowly up and down, sideways, rotate, and blink your eyes. Continuous reading can cause dryness in the eyes, so small breaks are important. These activities take only a few seconds and do not waste your time. That's all, students. Thank you.